What is it about West Ham? I mean, if you've got a striker that hasn't scored in ages, you want to play West Ham, you'll score. He'll get a hat-trick. If you're in a bad run of form, like Burnley were, what do you want? You want West Ham. Because you will be able to arrest any slide at all, just by playing us. So, I was sort of preparing today's video last night, and I thought I'm going to do one on the positives. I'm going to look at the positives, look how we can take things forward. It's been quite negative on here because things are negative at the moment. You know, there's not an awful lot going right. And I thought one of the positives may well have been Tottenham's form. Lo and behold, the ruthless Daniel Levy sacks his manager, a good manager. And I think it's made things very, very difficult. And it's changed the landscape. Now, it's changed the landscape in two ways. Number one, it's changed the landscape ahead of the game on Saturday. And we'll be discussing that tonight on the main channel. We're going to bring our preview forward so as we can, just so as we can discuss it. It's just so much going on. Don't be surprised if that one drags on a little bit longer than normal, because the impact that's going to have on Saturday's game is going to be huge. That being said, it has a wider impact, and it is to do with Daniel Levy and it's to do with David Sullivan. Because he's just been totally and utterly ruthless. I mean, he got into the Champions League final, a very, very successful, very good manager. Some would say he's had Tottenham, I think, punching above their weight in the last few seasons. Tottenham were never somebody that continually, challenged for the top four or whatever it was, constantly every season European competition. But that's what they've been under Pochettino. Champions League final, I mean, and I thought, let's be fair, I don't think they were necessarily the worst team in the final. I know Liverpool won, but Liverpool did a defensive job on them. Could have gone either way. The guy has done a good job. So he's won, I think it's 3 in 12. Not what they expected this season. And I've just finished listening to TalkSport. Just popped home quickly to record this. And I know we like to think that our owners use the media to get some spin out there. Well, I'll tell you what, he's doing it as well, Daniel Levy. He is pulling the puppet strings of Jim White. Jim White's explaining on the radio how they're 20 points behind Liverpool and how he probably needed to go and he can understand why and all the rest of it. So it's not just our owners that do it, but the focus is on the owners. Because Levy has acted swiftly and ruthlessly to get rid of Pochettino there. And if Tottenham go on and win this game, because this game is as much about the owners as it is about the managers now, if Tottenham go on to win this game and this move does arrest the slide that Tottenham appear to be on, then he is going to look like a very, very decisive chairman indeed. If they win, it puts the pressure on our chairman, because he's going to look like a ditherer. We spoke on this channel about just about Pellegrini losing the next 2 or 3 games. So we got Wolves and we got Tottenham, we got Chelsea, Arsenal. There's hard games coming up. And it was a case of, well, I think he's bang in trouble if he doesn't get a win in the next 3. Gio said he thinks we might go a win, a draw, a loss, that sort of thing. That keeps him in his job. But if we lose on Saturday, then that decisive action that Levy has done is going to look very, very wise. It could have the flip side as well, of course. But the worst thing is Mourinho has got in. And because he's got in, he's got, I'll say a week. He's got a few days to work on the training ground with these players. There may well be an uplift. I don't know. I think Pochettino was popular. But it's going to be very, very awkward. But there may be an uplift. And if there is an uplift, and if you can get his tactical ideas across, then you'd have to say they probably are favourites to win, because tactically you know what West Ham are going to do. So it sort of begs the question, should we have been more decisive? We won't know until Saturday. But it takes us to the link with Rafa Benitez. And he was linked in the Mirror yesterday. He's linked again today. And the comments that come, like the unofficial comments from the club that come out, are very much, we're not interviewing anyone. We haven't interviewed anyone. We've not approached anyone. Pellegrini is our manager going forward and all that type of thing. I would expect them to say that. If Daniel Levy had been asked, let's say a week ago, Are you approaching anybody else? Daniel Levy would have said no. Pochettino is our manager. We're in a slump. We've not approached anybody else. We're sticking with him going forward. That's the type of thing they say. It's press. It's spin. But realistically, was Daniel Levy negotiating with Jose Mourinho last week? Of course he was. He was doing it while Pochettino was still in the job. So these things happen because there's just no way. He was sacked last night. Within, 8 hours, Mourinho has got the job? Well, don't tell me there was no financial negotiations going on. All these people have got advisors. All these people have got agents. So you do have to wonder. I take that with a pinch of salt. I do wonder if other people are being approached. And I do offer... Do you know what the first thing is? It's silly, and I know he wouldn't come. The first thing when I heard about that Pochettino, I thought maybe we should go and get him. Because I do think he is a top quality manager. I really do. But there's something a little bit wrong at that club. You've got to look at all the players are running down their contracts and all the rest of it. But there's something wrong at West Ham too. And it's going to be easy to be wise after the event. I suspect we're going to be asking more questions after Saturday's game about what we do with our manager. And this link with Rafa, I'm not entirely sure I'm completely comfortable with it. It lacks ambition. It lacks invention, I think. Do we honestly want to put ourselves in a position where we go and get another guy from China? Why is Rafa Benitez in China? He's not in China because he thinks he's going to win another Champions League. Apparently he's not doing very well out there either, which is unsurprising. Clearly he doesn't speak the language. But why do you go out there? Clearly you go out there to earn money. Clearly it's an easier job than being over here. Newcastle would have been a much tougher job than happened in China. And I think if once you've had a tough job, if you are then given an easier job for far more money, I would think of myself in that situation, just regardless, take football out of the equation. If I've been working really, really hard for years and all of a sudden I get a job and it's just paying me 4 or 5 times the amount of money, life-changing money, and then I'm offered a job, that hard job again, I'm not sure how motivated I'd be. And I think that's what we might have with Pellegrini now. I just wonder how motivated anybody is that can go out to China to basically switch off from your career, to switch off from your ambition. Because that's what it is by going to China. You can't tell me any different. That is a lack of ambition to go there. You are only going there for the money. That's fine. I don't blame anyone doing anything for the money. But I do think if you go out for the money, it's very hard to come back and be driven again. And I think that's what we'd be getting. I think we'd be getting a slightly richer Rafa Benitez, but I do think we'd be getting a less driven Rafa Benitez. You want someone with a point to prove. And that's why it would need to be a young manager. So in that sense, I think you're almost better off staying with what you got in Pellegrini. But it's a massive opportunity for Pellegrini. Because the pressure is off of him. For once, the pressure is off him. For many reasons, this Jose Mourinho thing, Pochettino has gone against us. The timing of it, the game, all of that stuff has gone against West Ham. But the one area where it really does benefit us is where it benefits Pellegrini. Pellegrini's press conference this week would have all been about how his job is under fire. How is he going to arrest the slide at West Ham? What does Pellegrini think about the links with Rafa Benitez? It's going to be... That's how it would have been this week. Now it won't be. All the media attention is now going to be on Jose Mourinho and on Daniel Levy. Daniel Levy's very good at going to the ground. He'll go quiet. He's made his statement. You won't hear. He won't do an interview or anything. But at the press conference now, Pellegrini's going to be asked about Jose Mourinho, his rivalry with Jose Mourinho. Did he think Pochettino did a good job? He's going to be able to answer in cliches, which is what he wants. And that's really a good thing, because that's something that actually Mourinho is traditionally good at. Mourinho's good at his own clubs at creating a fuss, so as when he creates that fuss, the pressure's off the team. So Pellegrini's got, whatever it is, 3 days on the training ground now to actually instill in his players what he wants to do. He's going to be driven because he doesn't really like Jose Mourinho, allegedly. And the pressure is going to be off him. Those questions that he wants to avoid are not going to be asked in the press conferences. So as much as this seems bad, there's one little sliver of positivity to take from it. And he's got to grasp it, Pellegrini. He's got to see this as an opportunity. And he's got to say, hold on a second, I'm going to prepare this team. And he's got a real good chance here. And that is to change something tactically. Because Mourinho's not gone in there with all the dossiers. And he's having to put together his backroom team and all that stuff. I'm pretty sure he knew he was getting the job a week or two ago. So he'd have looked over all of West Ham's games. But he wouldn't have been able to prepare as he would if he was actually in the job. So what he's going to do, he's going to be preparing for that back four, for Declan Rice alongside Noble if he's fit, and so on, Yarmolenko on the right and Anderson on the left, and all that sort of thing. That's how Mourinho's going to be preparing his team. He's got a real chance at this now, Pellegrini. He's got a chance to use the sideshow to distract everybody, and whilst he's doing that, to do something clever tactically. Then he get his own back on Mourinho. Will it go like that? I don't know. I still, I'm trying to take something positive out of it. I still can't get over the fact that this is sickeningly poor timing for West Ham. Just once again, what can you do? At the one time I thought we might be able to turn it around, they have gone Tottenham and changed the whole mindset of the club. I can only hope that enough of those players like Pochettino, enough that maybe they won't be too happy. I can't see it though. Everyone's going to play for the new manager. Mourinho knows what he's doing. He's got to be foxy. He's got to out-fox him, Pellegrini. This is his chance. He can turn it around. All the talk will go away, more or less. Beat Tottenham. All that talk goes away. Players got to come out 100 miles an hour. Anyway, we're going to do the preview this evening. I'll catch you later on.